Good evening. There's anger in Larne and in ports across the UK tonight after P&O sacked 800 staff without warning. The company plans to replace them with cheaper agency workers. In response, the company said P&O Ferries was not a viable business in its current state. It has lost £100 million year on year, which the firm says has forced it to make swift and significant changes now. But trade unions have threatened legal action, and the Economy Minister, Gordon Lyons, has called on the government to step in to help save jobs. Mark Mallet reports.
The company has made the decision that its vessels going forward will be primarily crewed by a third-party crew provider. Therefore, I am sorry to inform you that this means your employment is terminated with immediate effect on the grounds of redundancy. Your final day of employment is today.
The shocking moment that P&O told 800 of its workers that they were losing their jobs. The devastating jobs blow came just hours after all ships were ordered to berth and delivered in a video message played simultaneously to staff across the UK.
In the meantime, can I thank you for your time today, and in particular, thank you for your service to P&O Ferries.
In Larne, shocked workers watched as security personnel boarded to escort them from the ship they'd just crewed on a crossing from Cairnryan.
I tell you now, I've got everybody assembled on the bridge here. This is outrageous.
The two lots of company representatives who turned out to be kind of security personnel and representing P&O were brought on board both vessels, in the one in Cairnryan as well. And basically we were given our redundancy packages and told that we were made redundant.
P&O Ferries operates 4 routes carrying millions of passengers, cars and freight units between Northern Ireland, Great Britain, the Republic of Ireland and Europe. But the company found itself sailing in choppy waters, describing itself as a business that was no longer viable.
It's a big shock. I have 4 kids, mortgage to pay.
P&O said it had been racking up a £100 million loss year on year, and in a statement said its survival was dependent on making swift and significant changes now. Without these changes, it said, there was no future for P&O Ferries. And so the company, after it claimed that it explored all other available options, said it was taking the very difficult but necessary decision to provide 800 seafarers with immediate severance notices. The company said it would be compensating them for this lack of advance notice with enhanced compensation packages. Union leaders branded the move treacherous and urged employees to refuse to disembark from ferries.
That is an absolutely outrageous act by an outrageous company owned by oil billionaires from the Far East that are just determined to drive down terms and conditions.
It's understood all crew have now left the ship in Larne. Their belongings packed up, their jobs, their livelihoods left behind. But it's the way in which the company has treated not just its staff, but passengers too, that has angered many. Scottish couple Jackie and Gavin Shaw go on holiday to Portrush around 6 times per year. They've had to pay almost £200 for a new crossing, and they won't be home till midnight.
We've been using P&O for 10 years, 5 or 6 times a year, and they just, they've treated all their customers very badly, in our opinion.
P&O says there will be significant disruption across all services over the coming days. For passengers due to travel between Larne and Cairnryan, the company says where possible it's organising travel via an alternative operator, but has this advice for passengers: if your journey isn't essential, then don't travel. But of course, P&O's announcement will impact more than just its ferry passengers, but businesses across Northern Ireland will feel the disruption too.
P&O is obviously a significant carrier for goods in and out of Northern Ireland. It handles probably around about a quarter of all our freight. And it's of concern to our members, both the logistics sector, but manufacturers and retail as well.
P&O Ferries claims to be reliable and dependable and believes the action it has taken has secured its future viability. Cold comfort for almost 1,000 workers facing into a stormy and uncertain future.
Earlier today, Mark Mallet spoke to the East Antrim MP, Sammy Wilson.
It is important that this vital transport link is maintained and indeed developed, but that is no comfort for those who have been treated so shabbily by the company and by those who have walked off that ship this morning.
Over 6,000 people in Northern Ireland have registered their interest in the Homes for Ukraine programme. The government scheme launches tomorrow to allow sponsors to nominate a named Ukrainian national or family to stay with them. In America, the Taoiseach has held a virtual meeting with President Biden after testing positive for COVID. Plans had to be hastily rearranged following Micheál Martin's positive test last night. Our political editor, Tracy McGee, reports from Washington.
It was all going so terribly well. The glitzy Ireland Funds Gala dinner began with a presidential address in which Joe Biden warmly greeted the Taoiseach, who was sitting in the audience.
And as Taoiseach and Mrs. Martin, I hope, feel at home here in America, it's an honour to welcome you back, Taoiseach.
But then Irish dreams died with the announcement that Micheál Martin had tested positive for COVID, delivered to shocked guests by the Irish ambassador.
Out of an abundance of caution, the Taoiseach was tested just as he left to come here, and sadly that test has turned out to be positive.
The Taoiseach quickly left the event where just seconds before he'd been sitting at a table with Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
I do feel very sorry for him because it's a big moment in any Taoiseach's career, and of course he's missed it because of COVID for the past couple of years, and he'll not be Taoiseach next year. I think it's very unfortunate for him.
Tonight was supposed to be the glittering start to 24 hours of St Patrick's Day celebrations, beginning with a presidential speech, followed by a day of events, with the highlight being the meeting between the Taoiseach and the President in the White House. But tonight's shock news has thrown all of that into confusion. The President's address last night was relatively non-political. More than anything, it was a celebration of his Irish heritage. But Speaker Nancy Pelosi repeated again there would be no US trade deal with the UK if there were a hard border in Ireland.
This for us is not an issue. It's not a proposal, it's not a provision in a bill. It is a value, it is an ethic, it is something as Americans that we treasure and that must be held. This morning at the Northern Ireland Bureau breakfast, the DUP Economy Minister Gordon Lyons revealed he had spoken with Mrs Pelosi after her speech.
There's a little bit of playing to the gallery there, but I wanted to make sure that I took the opportunity to express the unionist concerns that exist, and that we can't move forward in Northern Ireland unless unionists, nationalists and everybody buys into the process, and that's what's causing us the difficulties right now in Northern Ireland.
In the end, the President's meeting with the Taoiseach was hastily rearranged to take place virtually.
Deeply sorry for the inconvenience that we're having to meet virtually again this year, although I did at a little distance for 7.5 minutes get to see you yesterday. But
last year we met virtually across the Atlantic. This year we're meeting virtually across the road, so we're getting closer.
There had been questions over the events which had been scheduled to take place today, but most went ahead without Micheál Martin. It will be another year before a Taoiseach visits the White House. But for Mr Martin, it seems it's a long-awaited journey he will be unable to complete.
Tracy McGee in Washington. Back here, St Patrick's Day celebrations have been in full flow. People have taken to the streets for festivities in the likes of Belfast, Downpatrick, Londonderry, Armagh and Omagh. And hundreds of thousands of festival goers have also been in Dublin this afternoon for the city's world-famous International Parade. You can see all the action in a special St Patrick's Day programme with Paul Riley, and it follows this road. So to the weather. Here's Louise.
A well-earned lie-in. Home means there's always room for two more. UTV weather, sponsored by Phoenix Natural Gas.
Hello there, good evening. Well, it was a mix of sunny spells and showers today for St Patrick's Day, but the next few days look promising with lots of sunshine and some warmer conditions too. Looking at the pressure sequence, high pressure establishes itself tomorrow and stays in place for the weekend, bringing fine and settled conditions. Winds will ease and temperatures will increase. Staying dry tonight with long clear spells developing. Winds will drop out completely and under clear skies a frost will form. Temperatures will take a tumble, dipping to lows of -2 in Kilkeel, but could dip further in the usual coldest spots. Friday gets off to a fine and dry start with some early morning sunshine. Moving through the day, the sunshine will help to warm things up, feeling very pleasant if you're out and about, with light winds and highs of 14 or possibly 15 degrees, so we can expect quite a beautiful day. Looking ahead, Saturday we'll get off to another fine start. Temperatures will be down a degree or so on today. Sunday looks cloudier with some sunny spells and it will feel that bit cooler, but high pressure builds again early next week. That's the very latest in the night.
Bright and early and all ready for the day ahead. UTV Weather, sponsored by Phoenix Natural Gas.
Something to look forward to this weekend. That's the way it is in Northern Ireland this St Patrick's night. Stuart Robson will have the next local bulletin during Good Morning Britain. Until then, from all of us still in the newsroom, thank you for watching. Good night, and when you do get to bed, sleep well.
Judge.